I'm Shay Russell from mining.com.au, and joining me today is Andrew Mcllwain, the Managing Director of Investigator Resources. Andrew, how are you today, mate?
Oh, great. And it's wonderful to be back talking with you again, Shay.
Flattery will get you everywhere. For everybody listening, we did try to have a conversation at RIU, and I would go as far to say it was almost my best interview there because it was show and tell with some of your super cool rocks. But unfortunately, the audio didn't quite make it. So today I've got Andrew on so we can talk about one of the most recent updates with the Paris Silver project happening. Now, Andrew, I believe you released some fresh new drill holes to the market just yesterday. Tell me about them.
Absolutely. And it's the news we've been waiting for. And the question that I've always been challenged by shareholders and investors is, is there more to Paris? How else do you add some value? And what we did this year was, and I've sort of described it as throwing the kitchen sink at the tenement, but we approached it in not wanting to leave any stone unturned, pardon the pun, but we undertook a program that includes seismic, gravity, soil sampling, and quite an extensive air core drilling program. And yesterday we announced the results of that. The headline was, in fact, that we had a silver hit within 2 kilometres of Paris in an area we'd not seen silver before. We hadn't gone looking there because we hadn't considered it as prospective. But great outcome. Only a metre of intersection at the bottom of a hole, 71 grams of silver, which is, good news for us.
It's a great time to be talking about silver as well, because silver's finally starting to get the leg up that the market needed to get excited about silver explorers. Tell me, what made you go looking in this area? As you said, you didn't previously consider it. So what brought the change on?
Sure. Look, one of the challenges with exploration around Paris is there's a reasonable amount of cover and there's no expression or no surface outcropping. So we're sort of really going blind. Interestingly, our major shareholder, Jupiter Asset Management, that hold 15% of our stock, have always challenged me in saying, look, you've got to find another one. There's got to be another one there. It can't be the only one in the district. So what we did was an air core drill program, which is a quick and rapid way of getting down to basement or down to the hard rock. It's only an auger style of drilling. And it gives you a sample right at that interface between the cover and the basement rock. That's what really sort of unearthed this. As I said, we have also got some other intersections at some other parts of the tenement called Helen and Diomedes, which have been great. But really the good news is we found some more silver. What we need to go back and do some more work, but it's a good starting point.
It's an excellent starting point. And tell me, what depth did you find this?
Look, it was only at about 38 metres. So, the Paris Open pit will start at about 10 metres. So it's in the same sort of environment, which is encouraging.
All right. So you've actually managed to increase the prospectivity around the Paris project. What comes next?
Well, it's great to have some news that puts some appeal into the market, because at the moment we're doing all those things behind the scenes which aren't particularly enthralling, that are advancing our definitive feasibility study. So we've just completed hydrological studies, we've completed the environmental surveys, we're doing dust monitoring, noise monitoring, all those things, all those components that build up the DFS. We're also doing the final test work for processing about destruction of cyanide, all those things that need to feed into the model, and more importantly, or most importantly, feed into the regulatory approval process. So we're working on the DFS. Early second half of this year we'll have completed that, and then that allows us to make application for our mining lease with the South Australian regulator. So we're charging down that path.
The Paris project is taking the next natural steps of progress, but let's just assume a person watching this has actually never heard of the Paris project, and we've just gone and talked about all the good news you've released, but you've been working on bringing the Paris project to life for some years now. So let's take one step back and talk about what the Paris project actually is.
We'll probably get on to talking about silver and silver price soon, but Paris is the only primary silver-only project in Australia, and it's certainly the highest grade silver project in Australia. I always make sure people understand where we are. We're in the middle of South Australia. We're about 7 hours drive from Adelaide, most of it on the highway, and we're a little bit north of Kimber, and Kimber's known for its silo art and the big galah, that everyone has a big something. Kimber has a big galah. So we're about 60 kilometres north of Kimber. It's in an arid area. We don't have challenges of community sort of impact or direct community impact. The closest house is 26 kilometres from us. There's no significant rainfall. There's no downstream water users. It's in a relatively arid area. We don't have conflicting land use, so it's a grazing pastoral area. It's not cropping and so on. But Paris was found, as you said a while ago, it was discovered in 2011, and it survived the cycles of the silver price, and they've been quite high and low. And in fact, it was discovered before the 2013 peak of the silver price, when it went to $35 US. Through that time, and at times it's been challenging financing silver exploration, but through that time, the team have worked on advancing the resource. We've updated the resource 4 times, and each time we've been able to grow that. We've finished looking for more right at Paris. It's time to get on and mine it.
All right. Well, finally, we went one step back. Now we're going to go 2 steps forward. Let's talk about the benefits of the rising silver price for the Paris project. As you said, you've weathered a downturn in the silver price cycle. Silver's on the move up. It's looking quite strong, especially in Aussie dollars. How does this change the fortunes for the Paris project?
Sure. So I probably omitted to say that we've got 57 million ounces of silver in the ground. That's our resource. If you do the quick maths, that's $2.5 billion worth of silver in the ground. Got a bit of lead, but that's sort of not the main game. So when we did our pre-feasibility study that we announced to the market late 2021, we used a silver price of $34 Aussie, and we refer to everything in Australian dollar terms because our processing plant will produce a silver doré bar, and that simply has to go to a refinery in Australia. So we're not producing a concentrate that gets shipped around the world or something like that. So everything's in $8. Today we see an $8 silver price north of $47 compared to $34, so significant jump. But importantly, in US dollars, silver has not retreated below $30 US. It's made that barrier jump, and it's consistently sitting 31 or something above 30. And that's one of those thresholds that everyone says, okay, that's it, it's going to leap forward. The thing that's going to drive silver price is the consumption is far exceeding supply, and it's getting consumed in solar panels, electric vehicles, all those sorts of things that will decarbonise the world. And there's quite a significant supply gap of around about 300 million ounces for the last 3 years. That can't continue without it impacting the price. There's lots of people talk about silver going to $100 US. If it's anything like that, we're off to the races. Paris is a cracker.
Paris sounds like a cracker with the price where it is. Listen, I've long been an advocate for the strong silver fundamentals driving the silver price higher. There's a great industrial momentum behind this and huge industrial consumption of silver coming forward. Listen, Andrew, Paris sounds like it's starting to tick all the boxes and progress is happening on site. I hope to speak to you again soon. Thanks for being here.
Shay, very, very much appreciate the opportunity, and I do look forward to the next update because we're always out on the ground. We've always got news flow coming, and as I said, there's plenty to talk about. So appreciate your time.